I'm starting this new Minecraft world and I figured, why not read some Reddit stories while I try to survive the night? I like reading these stories from time to time, and I hope that you guys do too. Hopefully by the end of this video I can get a base going and maybe some iron tools and armor. So our first story is, am I the asshole for leaving a dinner early after my friends made a joke about me? I'm 23, female, and went out to dinner with four of my friends last weekend. We've all known each other for a while, so we're pretty comfortable making fun of each other. At some point, they started talking about how everyone in the group has changed since college. It was mostly harmless until one of them said that I was basically the backup friend of the group, because I'm always available when everyone else is busy. Everyone laughed, including me at first, because I didn't want to make it awkward. Then another friend said, she's not even offended because she knows it's true. They started bringing up random times when I'd been left out of plans and joked that I was basically the person they called when someone cancelled. I laughed it off at the table, but honestly, it really got to me. I ended up making an excuse that I wasn't feeling very well and dipped. Later that night, one of them texted asking why I was being weird. I told her that the jokes actually hurt my feelings, especially because some of what they were joking about was true. She said I was taking a joke way too seriously and that nobody actually thinks I'm a backup friend. I told her that if that's true, they probably shouldn't joke about something they know I'm insecure about. She said she didn't even know that I was insecure about it, and now everyone is apparently annoyed that I, and I quote, made the whole dinner awkward. I haven't talked to them much since. Part of me thinks I should have just laughed it off because they weren't trying to hurt me. But another part of me feels stupid for pretending I was fine when I wasn't. And that's the end of this story. I honestly think that the user who posted this story is not the asshole because she explained her feelings to her friends and told them that what they were saying and doing to her hurt her a lot and it made her very uncomfortable around this specific circle. One Reddit user even pointed out that them basically pointing out times that they've deliberately excluded you is not a joke. Real friends at least ask. And I totally agree. Because the last thing that you want to feel when you're in a friend group is to feel like the only time that you've ever been useful to the friend group is when the friend group is not around. And it makes you feel like you don't even belong. And if you have friends that make you feel like you're not even their friend, it's probably better to find a new friend or friend group. That was a read because that was really close to my heart because I went through the same exact thing like a couple of years ago. But anyway, aside from that, I found another story here and I think this will be really nice. It's a bit longer than the previous story, so yeah, here we go. Me, 25 female, with my boyfriend, 26 male of 6 months. I'm about to break up with him over a backpack, but I need to know if I'm overreacting. Just a slight warning, you guys, since the user did put a trigger warning, which is destruction of sentimental property, and there's also a mood spoiler, which is rage inducing but ends positive for OP. Alright, my boyfriend Jacob and I have been together for half a year now. We met through mutual friends about 2 years ago. Jacob is a very laid back guy, and maybe since I have a lot of anxiety that attracted me to him. The past 6 months have been fun, and without incident until now. I thought Jacob was a caring and thoughtful person, and I really saw a future with him. But now I'm reconsidering. Before this happened, I had about 35 patches sewn on it. This is a project that I started when I was 14 and needed a backpack for high school. Over the years, I collected patches from all the shows, concerts, and plays I've gone to. When I studied abroad and visited new cities and museums, gifts from friends and family, etc. When I was 20, the bottom of my backpack ripped out. So, I got a new one and carefully removed and reattached the patches. I don't carry a purse, I carry this backpack. Literally every day. It might seem silly, but a lot of my personal history and favorite memories are tied or sewn to this backpack. One Wednesday, Jacob and I were hanging out in my place watching Netflix with two mutual friends. My apartment has a much larger living room than his does, so we tend to hang out at my place. I had to work early Thursday morning, so I went to bed a little earlier and just told Jacob to lock up before he came to bed. The next morning, I go about getting ready for work and go to put some things in my backpack. That's when I notice it's missing patches. 11 to be precise. I immediately wake Jacob up, basically panicking, asking what happened. He told me that he had invited three of his friends over after I had gone to sleep. Apparently, they texted him because they were bar hopping nearby and he told them to come over. At some point, one of them saw my backpack sitting in the living room and said it was cool and they wanted one like it. And Jacob told them they could have some patches if they wanted. So they cut 11 patches off my bag. Dang, that's so insensitive. Anyway, back to the story. I was livid. I still am. I can't really describe how betrayed I feel. A few of my patches were gifts from my father who passed away last year. He always loved helping me find new patches and bought me three limited release patches that are now very expensive and difficult to find. Those are all gone. I had one patch that my dad bought in 1994 and let me have. It's gone as well. Patches from my study abroad trip are gone too, and I feel so devastated. I was not proud of my reaction. I flipped the freak out. A lot of WTF were you thinkings and how could you do this? I told him he had to call his friends that were over and get all the patches back. He said he would for the ones from my dad, but he would look too bad if he asked for the rest that didn't mean as much. I asked him if he cared more about looking like a jackass to them or me. He hesitated and I freaked out and told him he had to leave. I messaged the people I know were over on Facebook and got a response back from one person, which is one of the mutual friends. He brought my patches back Thursday night. He said he thought it was weird that Jacob offered but went along with it, and he apologized. So now I only have 9 patches missing. I know it sounds silly, but I just feel so sick over it. I texted Jacob today about getting my dad's patches back, and he just said he was going to contact them on the weekend. What's the point of waiting? I talked to a couple of close friends about what happened and told them I wanted to break up over this. Oh, I just died. Well, that was embarrassing. Anyway, they both saw this as an overreaction and that I should let it go and get more patches. Everyone seems to think because patches are cheap that I shouldn't be so upset and should just forgive him. I need to know if I'm overreacting. My feelings are maybe I was being hysterical when I confronted Jacob and I didn't deal with it in the best way, but he also hasn't been proactive about fixing the situation. He's only texted me once to tell me he was contacting his friends on the weekend, and I'm just so frustrated and hurt, and I'm not sure how I will trust him again after this. And before anyone asks, he absolutely knew what this backpack meant to me. Once, when we were about a month in dating, he asked me to give him the backstory to each patch, and he's seen me carry it every single day. And that's the end of this Reddit story. Alright, I have a lot to say about this. So, honestly, I don't think wow, what a stutter coming from me. Anyway, sorry. I don't think the user was overreacting at all. Like, people keep saying they're just patches, they're cheap, but that's such a surface level way to look at it. It's not about the monetary value, it's about what they represent. And this is literally a physical timeline of your entire life since you were 14. Also, don't mind the gameplay right now, I'm just fighting for my life over here. Anyway, those patches were literally about concerts, trips, even your dad who passed away. That's not just stuff, that's grief that you can hold in your hands. And honestly, the thing that gets me most isn't even the friends cutting the patches off, which is already so wild on its own, by the way. Like, who does that without asking first? But it's also Jacob's reaction after it happened. He knew what the backpack meant, Like he asks for the backstory on every patch a month or two into dating. So this obviously wasn't some innocent, oh, I didn't know or I didn't realize situation. He understood the significance and he still let his friends cut pieces off of it while she was asleep. I think the user was just a normal person who just has really important things to her, and it was something irreplaceable and it was damaged by people who didn't even ask. That's just normal and it's not an overreaction. All right. So we're done with that and I have one last story to tell. I think this one is a really crazy one. So this Reddit user is 25 and male and the title is My boyfriend 28 and male tried to screw over my best friend 26 and female at work. I told her and he got fired. He blames me now and wants me to pick him or her. Before I start, there was a trigger warning on this, which is deception. So, lots of background info into this. When I was 19, I came out as gay to my super religious family and was immediately disowned. They kicked me out, stopped paying for my education, and stopped talking to me. I literally lost everyone in the extended family. I was all alone and unprepared. I was going to an expensive private university and couldn't afford it anymore, and I had to drop out and start working full time. Around that time, my friend Claire at the university really helped me out. At that time, I didn't know that she was from a very rich family, and she never really lived to show it. She helped me with small things here and there, allowed me to stay with her until I could get my act together, and she even paid for me to get therapy when I was dealing with abandonment issues from my family. Really, the kindness that she did for me is something I'll never forget. We remained very close friends after that. I didn't go back to college, just kept working at rather lower wage jobs. A few months after she graduated, she asked if I would like a job. She wanted me to be her driver slash assistant. She was working in their own family's business, and her previous driver was a boring, yes ma'am, no ma'am old guy that she wasn't comfortable with. She offered me a superb salary and benefits, like 8 times what I was making at my job at the time. And, of course, I accepted. I've been working for her for 2 years now, and it's been very nice. The workload is low, I drive a super comfy, expensive car, I get paid to spend time with my best friend, and all in all, this is yet another huge favor for me that she has done. Here comes my boyfriend, Jack. He works for Claire's family business. I met him about 18 months ago and he hates Claire. He believed she is a spoiled, selfish girl who's only progressing because her dad owns the empire, as he puts it. I didn't know that Jack hated her until only a few weeks ago when they apparently had a clash at work. I'm not aware of the details or whose fault it was since that's really not my job, but I became aware of the conflict. Claire doesn't have strong opinions towards Jack though. When she learned that we were dating back then, she told me that he seems like a good hard-working person. Jack told me that he's going to put Claire in her place. I asked what he wanted to do. He didn't say much except that she won't see it coming. I kept pushing and he told me it was basically messing up something that will make Claire look very bad and the confidence of others in her would take a huge hit. I begged him not to do it as it was not just wrong and unethical, but also just petty. He seemed to have made up his mind and I couldn't do anything to change it. I really had no choice at that point. For one, I had to do the right thing. For two, Claire has done so much for me and I owe her so much in my life, and as a result, I have very strong loyalty to her. I couldn't sit and let something like this happen to her, so I told her everything. She appreciated my honesty and told me that she knows it must have been difficult to do this to my boyfriend, and that she won't forget it. She took care of the whole thing. Jack was fired. So now, he's angry that I told her. He says that I picked her over him, and I betrayed him. I keep telling him that I begged him not to do it, but he put me in the position of having to choose to do the right thing or keep quiet and let him do something wrong to my best friend. He says he can't believe that I did it. And now he wants me to show him that I love him and I'm loyal to him by cutting contact with Claire and quitting the job. I don't want to do that. Claire is my best friend and I owe her a lot. This job is great and I want to keep it, but I don't want to break up with him either. He made a horrible mistake and he's angry that he lost it. But he keeps pressuring me to make a decision and I'm just tired of it. Is there any chance for our relationship to work? And that's the end of the last story for this video, but I just want to give some of my insights regarding it. So, after reading this, my first thought is that there isn't really a should I stay or go question buried in here. The story pretty much answers itself. OP's boyfriend tried to sabotage their best friend at work, and OP stopped him. And now he's mad at OP for stopping him. That's the actual situation once you strip away the framing. And honestly, the whole prove your loyalty demand is kind of a red flag. Because Jack isn't asking to talk things through, like, he's just telling the user to quit a great job and cut off their best friend as proof of love. And it sounds so much like he's just giving the OP an ultimatum just so they can stay together without any conflicts with Claire, and it happens to isolate him from the one person who's been most supportive of them, and I don't know why Jack is trying to do that. Honestly, my big take on this is that this isn't really a will the relationship survive type of question. It feels like the OP already knows the answer and is hoping for permission to believe that Jack can change, and maybe he can. People do grow, I understand that, but right now, that's not really looking like the case for OP. Because in Jack's end, there's no like apology, accountability. He's just angry and he's just demanding stuff without proper reason. If Jack really wanted to fix the relationship or fix the problem that he had with Claire, the conversation should be about why he felt threatened by Claire in the first place, not about erasing her from OP's life. But that's just my own thoughts about it all. If you have your own opinions or thoughts that you would like to leave about the stories that I've told today, be sure to leave it in the comments below, as I also want to hear about what you guys think about these stories and if you want to hear more. But for now, that's all the stories I have for today. I've set up a farm here for a renewable food source, and I feel like this is where I want to build my base. So if you guys have any ideas on what I should build to make this base a little bit more presentable for you guys, be sure to let me know too. And if you guys made it this far into the video, consider subscribing, as it makes me feel like I'm actually doing something with my life. But yeah, so I'll see you in the next one, guys. Goodbye.